Hi, I'm Eva. This is Ryan. We're doing a podcast today on university. There's 3 basic topics we're going to be covering, and my stomach's going to be grumbling the whole time because I'm very hungry. This is like the 4th time we tried to do this today. So anyways, we're going to be covering pet peeves, how to be successful, and is it even worth going to a post-secondary institution?
Yeah.
The first 2 we'll be covering also high school because I feel like it's applicable there.
Okay, that's right. So pet peeves. So my first big pet peeve here is narrow hallways. You know, trying to get out of class, you're trying to get to the other class, and they're just so narrow. There's thousands of people that are trying to get to their thing too. Or some of them don't. Some of them just want to like look at the walls and kind of wander around the school like they've never been to a school before. And it's just frustrating because I'm trying to get from. I have class in building 7 on the 3rd floor, and I have a class in building 5 on the bottom floor, and I'm trying to get there, and it's going to take me a little bit to get there, but no one, there's a single file line because the hallways are too narrow, and everyone's lockers are in there, so it's just a frustrating thing you have to kind of weave around, and it's ridiculous. I need to get to class, and everyone doesn't care.
And there's also people who pull their backpacks behind them.
That's true. I sometimes don't see it, I bump into it, makes me upset, because it looks like luggage. Don't know why this isn't Hawaii.
Excuse me, I'm just stopping at school before I go to the airport.
Exactly, it's ridiculous, and I don't like it at all.
This reminds me of when I was in high school because our hallways were really narrow in the 2nd and 3rd floor, and our staircases between the 2nd and 3rd floor were also very narrow.
No.
And I mean, between people just like. There were 2 major things that pissed me off about this, because there's people who were always at their lockers. We only had like 3 minutes to get across the school and up down like 3 levels. Lord forbid you had gym class, because then you had to get changed and run. Jeez, and it was so narrow. And then you had people. Okay, this was my favorite part. You try to go to your locker. Terrible idea, because for 2 years in a row there was a couple that their locker was beside me, and I swear to God, every fucking day I'd show up. And they'd be making out on my locker. More than once, I managed to open it, and they like elbow, and I like catch my wrist in my locker. You know what? If they had had wider hallways, people wouldn't be pushing everybody around, and I would have almost broke my wrist many a time. Also, people would fall down the stairs, and people would just step over them because we have places to be. And screw you, I'm just gonna kick your homework while I'm at it.
That makes sense. We would do that at university too. We don't care. You fall, you're lost. No one cares.
What's the line?
What's the line?
Oh, the pirate code. Anyone falls behind, you're left behind.
Oh, right, yeah.
High school is Pirates of the Caribbean, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Surprised you only have 3 minutes. We have 10 minutes to get to class. I guess because ours is buildings. We have a lot more buildings.
Yeah, you have like campuses to cover and like actual roads to cross over. And
yeah, you have to try to like plan it out. Like, okay, maybe if I go this way, there won't be as much people, but never. No, it doesn't matter where you go. It's all horrible. It's so depressing.
Don't go to university then.
I mean... So I guess we'll just skip to the last thing. Don't. It's not worth it.
No, that's not what we're saying. You also really don't like it that people are very informal and they take off their shoes and wear sweatpants and such?
I really hate it. Because, it doesn't take that much effort to try. Like, I wear jeans, I wear beautiful, amazing shirts.
Shout out to the Colossus, by the way.
Shout out to the Colossus. Buy it now. It's available on the PS4.
Oh, no! Shilling for something that doesn't even pay you.
Yeah, but because I love it. Anyway, doesn't matter. But I like it's easy. It's easy to try, and I don't like it. I don't like the informality because like for me, like university's like this, like a big deal. It's like your education. It's important, and it's like you're gonna show up in sweatpants and not give a shit.
See, actually, when I was in college, before I went to trade school, they did actually make a big deal where they're like, you should dress professionally because it's to get you ready for the industry you're going into. Exactly. You should have those habits.
Oh, yeah.
And I pissed off my instructor all the time because I'd, like, show up in my sweatpants and my Uggs and my baggy-ass hoodies and just, like, be curled up on my chair.
All the business students actually wear, like, nice shirts and even, like, full-on suits and ties. Yeah, I like that.
Because it gets you prepared, but at the same time, also, like, if I'm studying, like, say, like, it's finals week, do you really expect everyone to do their makeup in the morning? Because...
You know what? On final days, it's fine because you're just there to write an exam, so who gives a shit? You can dress whatever you like on those days.
Which is funny because when I was in high school, for exams, everyone was dressed down, and in trade school, my final exam every year, I wear a dress and heels because all through my classes every year, I wear like dirty jeans and Carhartts and work boots and sweatpants, and then the last day I'm like 4-inch heels, dress, done up, not too much, but done up.
Right.
And it's fun because every year on the last day, because the guys tell me for 6 weeks that I am average looking at best. And then the last day I show up and they all go, oh, hi, Eva. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Slightly above average, that's good.
Slightly above, I'm like a 4.5 now. which is fun. But no, like I understand why people have dress codes. Actually, my roommate's girlfriend is in an aesthetic school, and they have to look like exceptional. They have to be to the code, or they're not allowed in. They're not allowed to have chip nail polish.
Yeah, maybe they should. I know at the Center High for my upgrading, the school I went to for upgrading, you weren't allowed to wear like hats at all. And that was like their only dress code thing, and I understood that. You're supposed to.
I remember arguing the dress code when I was in high school, and they were like, "You can't wear a hat," and I was like, "Excuse me, I'm a woman. This is a sign of modesty." Also, it's pinned in. It was like a beanie that was pinned into my hair. I was like, I have like 19 pins in this. I am not. I am not taking this out. And she's like, "No, it's the dress code." I was like, "I'm sorry that I'm trying to be more modest than you. I'm being appropriate. My hair is, partially hidden, and you know what? I don't appreciate you telling me that I can't stand by old values." And I won that.
Really? You won it? Well, look at you.
Because it also wasn't like a capped or anything. Like, it was literally on the back of my head. But I won that, where it's like, excuse me, that these are the values I hold that are like of modesty, which is hilarious, because in high school I wore like a lot of sports bras, so you get a lot of cleavage, flat cleavage, but cleavage, and like low tank tops. My teacher would actually come up and like pull my shirt up. Oops.
Oops. Yeah, sure.
Anyways, the next thing pisses me off a lot. You don't care, and that's people who screw around in study areas and quiet areas. Because if I'm in that area, I there's a reason. There's a reason why people go to quiet areas, and it's to not have to deal with you. So don't be there. Don't be the asshole there.
Oh God, the accents.
The accents are
okay, great. It doesn't bother me as much because I do most of my studying at home, so it's quiet there, so I can probably it's better.
Oh, got so staticky. Clanged to my eye.
Your hair?
Yeah.
Your very red hair.
My hair is blonde, for anyone who's wondering. This light just makes it look red.
No.
Anyways, moving on to things that'll make you a successful student. And the first one is show up every day. Just show up.
You think that's just common sense, but a lot of people don't. Not every day, at least. They show up on like exam days and when essays are due.
When I was in college, would show up like an hour late every day. I'm amazed they didn't kick me out.
Oh my God.
But I would have done better if I had shown up on time every day. And actually being there to listen to the lectures.
On time, prepared to listen to lectures, also prepared in terms of the readings, because you generally have readings to do between classes, so it's not too hard. You put aside like 20-30 minutes, you can do the readings. They don't depending on the level, of course, they don't put too much. They don't give you too much on your plate that you aren't going to be able to read every day.
62 pages on bread.
62 pages on what?
Bread.
Oh, right, that's true. But I had a week to read that. So it was fine. I read 62 pages on bread. Bread's good, just by the way. That's the argument that she made. Bread is good and that we should eat it. Anyway.
The other thing that we both really agreed on is rewriting your notes. Yes. It's a great way to, it sounds, for a couple reasons. Writing it's just like a muscle memory in your brain that you'll remember it better. Also, I don't know about you, I take notes really, really messily. So if I rewrite them right away, I know what it was, and it's easier to write them out properly again.
Yeah, I really regret when people are like, "Hey, can I read your notes because I wasn't here last class?" Because I don't want to show it to them because they're not going to understand. Like, what is every word here? What is every single word?
Your writing is messy to begin with.
Yeah, so like
your chicken scratch is horrible.
You don't want to see it. It's horrible. Yeah.
My chicken scratch is just a mix of cursive and non-cursive.
Yeah.
And it pisses people off because also every time I write anything, it'll start in normal letter by letter, and by the end of it, it'll be in cursive. And it transforms its way through, and it pisses off anyone who's ever read anything.
Why do you do that?
I don't know.
What's so weird?
Because I think I get lazier, so I start doing the cursive.
You start off okay, I'm gonna write these notes, and then okay, no, I don't really care about it, just cursive now.
Well, I also write without looking, especially when we're doing things on up on the board and that, I don't look at the paper. So it'll trail a little, but I'm amazed at my skills there.
I do the up and down. I used to have competitions on who in elementary school on who would finish notes quicker, and I'd always lose.
I remember doing that in high school in science classes where you're I'm finished first. Yeah. I also was really big on color coding when I was in high school. Really? I think it helped then, but I think my areas of study have changed where it used to be all the sciences and trying to link information together, and now it's these are rigging formulas. Right. Yeah. This is a kind of crane, and it's just not the same kind of. Mm-hmm. I don't need to correlate those things together anymore.
That's true. Another tip, depending on you, the person, is either sitting in front or sitting in the back. I personally feel like sitting in the front is the best because then you're less distracted. You're able to focus on the professor and the lecture going on, and you're less bothered by things around you because you can't see these things. Whereas you feel differently about it.
Well, personally, I prefer sitting in the very back of the classroom. I would say sit where you'll face the least distraction.
Yeah.
Sit where you will be able to focus best, and especially if you have issues with your eyes or anything, sit where you'll be able to read clearly everything that's stated.
Yeah.
So you're not relying on somebody beside you who may not be paying attention or anything.
That's true.
So you sit where you are comfortable and where you are able to do your best.
Another thing is I would recommend not bringing in your laptop. A lot of people, bring it in. It's a technological advancement of society, but I don't think the laptops are very good to have because they're a distraction for anyone around you and beside you, and they're a distraction for yourself because it's very easy because you can click on your Microsoft Word. Can have that ready, but then you have the internet. You have the internet open to you. You can do whatever you want.
Like you were saying, there's a guy that goes on Reddit all the time and distracts the bejesus out of you. Never mind him.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like he's not paying attention, and he's also affecting my learning now as well. So it's just not a good situation. Just be old school. I have duotangs. Apparently, I'm the only one to ever have duotangs nowadays.
These duotangs are the old ones where you fold the metal over every time you put a piece of paper in.
They're cheap at the dollar store, so you can get like 5 of them for $1. It's a good deal.
Yeah, his have My Little Pony on them, by the way.
Oh my god, they don't. They don't. They're just colors. Sorry, drink break.
Drink break.
Rockstar.
Once again, not sponsored by energy drinks, but fueled by energy drinks.
Yeah, that's like your third one. You need to. You just need to calm it down a bit.
Anyways.
So, show up. Don't be distracting or
distract others. Like,
exactly.
It's just rude. The other thing that's actually very important is interacting in your classes for a couple of reasons. And namely, when you interact, especially in like larger classes like what he does, it allows the instructor to realize that you're there, and they kind of pay more attention. And generally for participation marks and that's important.
Oh, definitely.
The other thing with actually like participating is that it works on your public speaking skills. And people really neglect to work on their public speaking. I've always been very comfortable doing public speaking, and it's actually helped me a lot in my career. And like in high school, I'd MC events and that for the school, and that didn't bother me. And I'd go present to people, and I had no problem doing that. I had to go class to class so many times doing like little presentations.
It also just helps with your confidence.
Yeah.
Your general confidence in like your ability to understand the material going on and understand what's going on. It helps with your confidence a lot. Yeah.
But realistically, career-wise.
Oh yeah.
Most careers, if you want to have advancement, you're gonna have to be able to do public speaking. You're gonna have to be able to confidently speak to groups of people.
Yeah, which I still don't do, but I recommend that everyone else does because to learn from my mistakes.
But your classroom is a great place to do it because even if you answer something wrong or you say something wrong, no one's gonna remember in 5 minutes.
They already forgot.
You get to have that experience where you present and you speak confidently to a group. And whether you're right or wrong, you're still learning. You're still getting better at that speaking.
That is true.
Also, ask questions.
Yeah.
Do not just go, okay, I'll figure it out later, because you're going to forget that you need to figure it out later.
Obviously save it for after class. You kind of don't ask them about assignments in the middle of this lecture.
Well, yeah.
So,
ask at an appropriate time.
Yeah, they do their best to be always available to you whenever you want it. They give you the hours that they're in their offices, and they give you like an email if you have a question that you don't mind waiting like a day or so to get an answer to. So yeah, they're always available. So just use it.
And if it's and if you're taking more science or mathematical based things, there's generally some sort of tutor or resource center in the school.
Yeah.
I know when I went to school, we had that, and quite often when people have a hard time learning things like mathematics and basic sciences, it's generally not that they can't understand the material, it's that they're not understanding how it's being taught to them. So having somebody else teach you, even somebody else in your class tutor you, or go, especially with mathematics, tutor centers are generally the best way to go, and have another person teach you a different way.
Yeah, I mean, like, the way ours is set up, everyone has each other's emails, so you'll constantly get like people trying to set up study groups and stuff like that. Exactly, so yeah, so it's very easy.
And actually tutoring other people is a great way to ensure that you know the material. Like, I've done that in all of my schooling, where I tutor other people. And because if somebody asks you a question, you might, even if I didn't 100% understand it, I have to be able to figure it out to teach somebody else. So it makes you think a little more critically about it.
Yeah.
And if you can if you can teach somebody else how to do something, you know it well enough yourself.
Exactly. So let's move outside the classroom now in terms of talking about like study things for exams and stuff like that.
the most important thing, and I remember when even in like high school, they were like, hey, stay hydrated, have an orange in the morning. And the reason for that was oranges are high, because they have sugar, vitamin C, and essentially they give you energy. Right. I don't know what that sound was.
That was just a fishy sound, I guess.
No, it was, don't drink coffee before an exam was the other one we were always told.
Don't drink coffee?
Don't drink coffee right before an exam. Because you're going to have to pee halfway through.
That's true, yeah.
Which, you know, you don't think about it, but yeah, when you have to pee during an exam, especially if you're in like a room with like 300 people, how often do you want to be the person who gets up and you're like, I need to go pee, and everyone's going to hear it?
I actually don't mind it. I don't like, because I
hate it.
Last exam that I remember.
Yes, I remember.
I didn't realize until it was too late that she wasn't going to let anyone leave to go to the bathroom. And I had to go to the bathroom like early on, like 30, 45 minutes in. And I stayed there for the whole 3 hours, but I was literally dying.
Yeah, but you're distracted then by your own
Exactly, yeah. So I was angry, so I wasn't even in the right mindset. I did very well in the exam, so it didn't matter. But it could have affected it, and that's a problem.
Yeah, so drink water. Try not to drink coffee before exams.
Yeah,
because it is a diuretic.
Yeah, exactly. Try to like pace it out. Be like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom before the exam. I'm gonna be, like, if I drink it like at this time, I'll have to go pee at this time, and then I'll be able to.
If you know your own body well enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, eat an orange, drink water. Like have a light breakfast that's like it's gonna fill you up enough. You're not gonna be hungry before the exam ends.
Exactly.
You're not gonna like bog yourself down with fried chicken.
Exactly. Yeah, don't do that afterwards.
Nothing slows you down more than what's this phrase? Nothing slows you down more than fried chicken on a warm afternoon.
I don't know that. What's that from?
Really? My dad used to say that to me all the time.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like when we eat Fatburger and then I go into a food coma for an hour. Like I do nothing for an hour afterwards.
That's true. We'll get Fatburger later. Anyway.
Anyways, the next one was vary the way you study.
Yes. You want to get information different ways because then it better connections are made in your mind. Like you want to rewrite your notes, go through the textbook again, and if you record your lectures, which some will let you, some won't. I've never run an incident where they won't, but it's always good to ask them before doing that. And then you just vary it up, and you're able to retain it better because of that.
Well, I know some people. Well, I remember learning about that too, where people learn differently. Like I learn best by doing something myself. Right. Having somebody else do it on a board does almost nothing for me. Right. And having somebody tell me is like I'm deaf to people when they're trying to teach me things. Like I need to do something to learn how to do it. So for me, writing through the work and even doing the same work twice was very effective for me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, listening to how it's supposed to be done helped me as well. Yeah. So having that I'm not going to say multimedia, but that multifunction way of learning is effective for most people because no one is 100% going to learn one way. Yeah. Generally, people learn through a combination of ways.
Exactly, and it also depends on the style of the lecturer. Like some lecturers have like lots of notes and they give you exactly what they want. They tell you they lay it out exactly for you what they want in the exam. Whereas other lecturers are like he'll write 3 things on the board and you would have to have recorded everything he said instead of what he wrote down.
Which is why it's a good idea to record your lectures, especially if you have a class where you have a lot of people interrupting the flow. Yeah. Because you're probably going to lose your track of things eventually. Yeah. If you have students who are constantly trying to have a conversation with the instructor.
Also, you're just gonna have tough days as well at school. You're gonna wake up and you're like, I'm just not feeling it, and you're just kind of like zone out the entire day at school. So it's good to have the recording so when you can go back to it and see what you missed.
That was my whole last year of high school. I don't know what happened. I don't remember most of that year. I'm gonna be honest.
Really.
I remember. Well, yeah. People tell me things I did in high school, and I'm like, no, that wasn't. They're like, no, that was you. Okay. By the way, I didn't know that I did this. Apparently, I broke a door by throwing a chair through it. No. I didn't know I did that. Somebody told me about that. I was like, no, I didn't. They're like, yeah, you did. It's the student union. I'm like, oh, shit, really? They're like, yeah, you broke the door. I didn't break the door down. I just broke the door. And threw a chair across, like, by throwing a chair at it. And I'm like, what? Why? They're like, you were angry. I'm like, I blind raged enough that I fucking threw a chair.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I'm less aggressive these days.
I had a normal high school life, so... Nothing broke over here.
Ooh, you want to know the best thing we ever did in high school? Don't do this. Don't. Oh, God, but I'll tell you about it.
Oh, great.
So there was a very, very heavy man. He was very tall, very, very heavy. Okay. And I used to hang out with the 2, like, kind of jockeys, the football guys, the hockey guys, in my design course. Yeah. And he was in the classroom beside us, in, like, the technical room, the computer room. Mm-hmm. and they decided that we're gonna put laxatives, like a lot into his drink. Because we could hear him, because the bathrooms were, like, it was, like, one of the worst places if you ever needed to go to the washroom, because they were far. Like, you had to make it, like, ooh. You either have to cut through the, you can't cut through the cafeteria between classes, so you'd have to run all the way around the gymnasium, come back around into the common area. That's a, I'd say that's probably, like, a 3-minute walk. But if you have just been fed a bunch of, laxatives, you run. And he's a heavy man, he was a loud man, and we're sitting there waiting, because they told me that they'd done it, and I was kind of the lookout, because it was less suspicious if I was paying attention.
Right.
And yeah, I remember, you heard like, oh, and like these groans, and then just running, and panic. And about, I'm going to say 40 minutes later, he came back, and he was pissed, but I don't think he figured it out.
Really?
I don't think he ever figured it out. I think he just thought he had like a stomach bug or something. Because we were dying laughing. So don't do that to people.
Don't do that.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Don't do that.
We know that I was kind of a bully in high school. So.
Well, they didn't know that until now.
Oh, well, you know. Like, I've kind of been a bully in my life.
Yes.
The Dungeon and Dragon boys. Ooh, they knew me. I also found out my brother's not playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Was he a Warhammer guy?
Yeah, he was. But now he's playing D&D.
Oh. Nerd.
Anyways, going back to success and not pranking people.
Yeah, not horrible things you did in high school.
If you're writing essays, have somebody proofread your work.
Oh, please, dude. You're gonna, since you're with the material, however long the essay is, like weeks or days, and you're gonna keep reading over, you're gonna miss something. You're gonna be tired, frustrated. You just want to be done this whole thing. So have someone proofread it. And they'll give you things like, oh, you did this. It always happens. So definitely have someone proofread it. Preferably someone who knows about grammar and stuff like that.
Well, I know I've proofread your stuff before.
Yeah, I've had you proofread my stuff. That's
and
true.
Just replace like minor language before and like fix punctuation.
Exactly, you're gonna make those mistakes. Yeah. Yeah,
and then when it's your writing and you've read it time and time again, you're gonna be blind to them. Like when I do things on the internet, I'll have him proofread them because I'll just like have. Especially if you have autocorrect on your computer, which I have, it'll autocorrect words to other words.
Yeah.
And it's like, or you'll double a word if you stopped for a minute and you stop thinking about it, then you'll double a word in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good to have somebody else check it over so you don't look like a fool.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't look like a fool. Stay in school. No?
No, never. That's school for you.
That's how to succeed at skill.
Don't do accents. This is another one that we didn't put on the list. If you don't do accents, they're not going to look at you weird. So, don't do that.
Anyways, overall, would you say that going to any post-secondary is worth it?
That all depends on the person. Me personally, yes. I find it a good opportunity to learn things. You get access to things you wouldn't normally get access to. You know, there's a reason you pay a lot of money.
See, I have a theory on this.
Ooh.
Well, I have two conflicting theories. In my mind, all education is a good investment of your time.
Yes.
I truly believe that the more time you spend thinking and learning how to think critically, the better your life will be because you will have... You've trained your mind, as you would any other muscle, to think more critically about things.
Yeah. And
certainly having an education in anything will be helpful. If you've done more mathematics due to a post-secondary education, there will be times in your life where that'll come out. Mm-hmm. Even, like, I'm in a trade. I do a construction, and I use my high school math more than I thought I remember being in high school going, never going to use this. I've had to advance my mathematical skills since then because it's applicable in my construction.
Right, yeah.
Like, not a place where you think about it. And physics, man, do we use a lot of physics. And just learning how to think critically will help you figure out situations in your workplace and in your personal life.
Yeah.
At the same time, I believe that education is worth it for young people, like 18 to 21-year-olds, because it kind of gives you a buffer zone to figure out who you are, where you're learning a bunch of different things and meeting a lot of people and, you know, socializing with a bunch of other people who also have dreams and ambitions as you're maturing and reaching a point where you're actually going to decide what you're doing. Because realistically, at 18, you're probably not going to do what you thought you were going to do. Exactly. Between 18 and 25, your entire life plan is going to change multiple times.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's a good buffering zone from, like, being a child still to being an adult is post-secondary.
I think that's a fair way of describing it. I mean, obviously, if you have the money, you don't want to try to...
Don't waste money on things that are going to get you nowhere. Like, Bachelor of Arts is one of the most useless things you can have, but a lot of people get it because it gives you that time to learn and discover yourself.
And it also gives you skills.
It gives you skills, but it doesn't give you career advancement so much.
No, not so much. No.
So it's a good course. Like, it's good if you want to figure out who you are and what you want to do with your life, but it's likely not going to do much for your career.
Also, just to learn, give you just general knowledge about stuff that you would have never learned about on your own. So yeah.
But if you don't have the money to spend 3 or 4 years figuring out who you are, I'd say take courses that will have like advancement for any career. Like, take business, take finance, take marketing, take things that every company will appreciate you having. Take computer technologies of any kind.
Future,
because in every single company, their hardware keeps updating and updating. I got promoted to a manager because I knew how to run a POS system properly.
Yeah.
Most people didn't. I mean, it just the small advancements are worth it.
Exactly, yeah.
Also, I'd say take some literature courses, because learning literature is learning about yourself.
Deep.
Well, yeah, it is. Well, because you relate to the material you read. The same way that you relate to the art that you see. That's the joy of it. It's artistic.
That is true, miss. That is true.
Overall, I'm saying go for it. But preferably do things that will allow you to have a better career and pay you better so you can have a more comfortable life afterwards.
Yeah.
And that will benefit society. I mean, that's the other one.
Yeah.
If you have the choice between being like a lawyer and a doctor, please be a doctor. Like, if you're interested in both, please be the one that'll save people's lives.
So what about just let people do what they want to do? Lawyers help people. They defend the law.
I would say, like, if you have interest in both of those, pick the thing that, will give you the most satisfaction in life. Yeah. I mean, yes, perhaps arguing in a courtroom will be it'll make you a lot of money, but the satisfaction of saving people's lives is probably more worth it to your life.
Well, it depends on the person.
I'd say most people would probably benefit more.
Different kind of benefit.
Yes. What about you? Do you have any negatives on post-secondary? Any positives?
Other than it costs a lot of money? Other negatives. It's a lot of work. It's very stressful.
And it sets you back.
It sets you back, definitely. It does, almost every exam month is always horrible. It always be the worst thing that you're looking for. That you
so much
have.
Stress. You go through so much stress. I actually look back and I regret going to college.
Yeah, really.
I regret waiting as long as I did to start the career that I'm on now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I realized that if I hadn't gone to college and I hadn't, screwed up and made some mistakes and buggered around, I probably wouldn't have wound up where I was anyways.
Okay.
And certainly it was a lot of time for me to figure out who I was, which was important in order to be in the career I'm in now.
So you're suggesting that you should go straight from high school into college or university?
People say, I'm going to take a year, and they're right. Like, the statistics are right. If you take a year off, you're much less likely to go. Mm-hmm. There are some people who, manage it. I actually know a lot of people, yes, like you. I actually know a lot of people where they'll work construction jobs in that. Mm-hmm. And they'll work construction for 4 months a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
And kind of work it with a roofing company throughout the year. So they have a higher income. Mm-hmm. So that they can afford to spend, instead of working part-time jobs all semester, they'll work construction for 4 months and live off that income for the rest of the year so they can commit themselves fully to school.
Okay.
And then they can work on their apprenticeship and their degree, and they wind up getting 2 career paths out of it.
So yeah, the whole thing is you want to be practical with your university.
Well,
as much practical as you can be. Sorry.
Well, yeah, practical with your time and financially.
Yeah.
I mean, find a situation where you will, the way I went to college is not the way I'd recommend to anyone. I was pinching pennies so hard they were melting together.
Okay.
Where you've been in a situation where financial security is it's easier for you. Yes. Where I had to work excessive hours in order to almost pay my rent.
Right.
I was living off, that's why we met, is because I really needed food. He worked at a grocery store. I started working at a grocery store so that I had free food every day.
Fun little fact.
Fun little fact. That's how we know each other. Yeah, I was really broke and hungry all the time.
Yeah, you were.
If I had any piece of advice to anybody, especially if you're in high school, is don't stress out about college. Realistically, okay, especially in places where we live, because we're in Edmonton, we have the University of Alberta here, which is actually one of the best universities in the world. And people constantly get upset because they're not going to make it into the U of A without realizing that we have an excessive amount of people who go there from the area, and realistically, it's above. I mean, it's better quality than what those people actually should be getting.
Right.
Because they're just not as good as other people.
Mm-hmm.
But they get in because they live locally. And stressing out because you're not going to make it into the best university isn't worth your time.
No.
And if you're really, like, say, if you wanted to, like, become a lawyer and go to Harvard, realistically, it doesn't matter so much which your first university was.
Right.
It's that you did very well in that school that'll get you into the one you want to be in.
It's true.
Also, your marks in high school, okay, I'll be very honest with you, they don't matter. As long as you passed, they don't matter.
That's true. That's true. Also, you have to realize that when you start at university, it's not the high school, elementary, junior high. They've always been telling you that university is going to be different, and it's not different. They're more relaxed, which is better, actually.
I remember going to college, and, like, in high school, the teachers are like, they're there all day, every day, they're on the ball. I would show up, and my instructor just didn't want to come to work that day. So it's like, all right, what are we doing? Whatever you want. Like,
Well,
that's how college was.
Well, I'm not saying mine was like that.
Well, you go to university,
Yeah,
I went to
university.
college.
I guess that's true. But it's not as hard as you're gonna think. If you're concerned, in high school, you're concerned about making that step because you think it's gonna be difficult. It's not. Just do the work. They'll give you. If you're having problems with essay writing, they have books that they recommend. If you're having trouble with any of that kind of stuff, there's so many things that can help you. But like if you did good in high school, you're gonna do good in university.
One big piece of advice: don't drink during the week because you're now an adult and you're in your first year of getting to drink legally, and there's always bars around universities. Don't drink on weekdays. If you're gonna go and party, don't even party on Saturdays. Trust me on this one. Party on your Friday night. Recover on your Saturday. And do all of your, do anything else you need to do on your Sunday. Like, make Saturday your get shit done around the house day. Make Sunday your get things done for assignment day.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have your fun, you had your social time, and if you only go partying once a week, it's much cheaper. But drinking during the week is taking not only time away from your studying, but it's going to screw up your sleep. You're going to be dehydrated. You're probably going to, when you drink, you stay up considerably later. You're more likely to miss class the next day. Just as a habit, don't drink during the week when you're in school. I know it's tempting, but don't.
Or just don't party or drink at all, like I do.
Well, yes, but realistically, most people are going to drink at 18. They're going to want to go out and party because it's a new freedom they haven't had before. I know I did. When I was 18, I partied way too much. And I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have.
Yeah, I didn't have that when I was 18. It was pretty calm and relaxed.
You and I lived a different life. I had a freedom thing where I had lived in a small town and I moved to the big city the day, I think a week after I turned 18.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. I get to do anything I'd ever wanted. I could go drink and party. I also live downtown, which is a bad place to live if you have that kind of personality.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Whereas I was surrounded by bars and people and everyone was new and everything was exciting because I was 18 and I got to live in the big city downtown and I was used to being in a small kind of hick town.
I guess that's fair.
Where you grew up in the area that you stayed in.
Yes.
It didn't change for you.
Nope.
Also, you're not prone to partying or... I'm a social butterfly. I like to talk to everybody.
I don't talk to anybody.
This is the difference. Anyways, is there any other thoughts you have on post-secondary?
Nope.
I think the overall thing here is do it. Do it for any reason that you would want to do it.
Do it if you can afford it. Do it if you can handle the stress. Do it to find yourself.
And make yourself more... I know we live in a world where everything's about your career, which is actually a hard thing, because when you're in school, it's all about, you want to be happy and you want to find your life, you want to do this, but realistically, your life is not about your happiness. Your life is about your ability to take care of yourself and your independence at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So try to make sure that you'll be in a position where you will be able to support yourself easily and readily after your university or experience.
And also be happy, too.
Happiness, too, but no, you're going to be happier in life if you're financially stable. So much less stress when you are financially stable.
That's true.
I know it's not fun advice, but it's realistic advice from somebody who's done the broker than all shit, considering selling my kidney to get on kind of thing.
Right.
Way too stressful.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, one other thing I did want to say.
Okay.
If there are sports teams related to your education and you are good at sports in high school or in junior high, stick with your sports in high school, because I know a lot of people who have gotten their tuitions paid because of their abilities with sports. Even, like, it's not just the sports you play in school. Like, if you play hockey and you're good, if you play ringette and you're good, and then you start applying to universities and that have those teams, you're much more likely to have financial assistance with your tuition. So if you already have that skill, or even with some musical instruments and that, it's helpful.
Well, you just reminded me of something. Yeah, look at scholarships. Look at bursaries.
Generally, you want grants and bursaries because you don't have to pay them back.
Well, scholarships you don't have to pay back.
Some of them have clauses.
Some of them probably, yeah, but yeah, definitely do your research and that kind of thing. If you need financial help, definitely look up that kind of stuff. There are also student loans, which everyone's scared of, but sometimes...
Instead of getting a student loan, here's a fun trick.
Okay.
Get a line of credit. For the reason that your line of credit, you can freeze generally, because what they'll do is they'll give you a line of credit with a frozen amount during the term of your education. So it'll be considered a student loan at frozen until you're done your education. Generally, they'll give you like 6 months or a year after to make where you will have no interest on it and you are required to make no payments.
Okay.
And then they'll transfer it to a line of credit, which will be considerably lower in interest, like 2% interest. And they'll help you pay it off. Most banks will allow you to do that because they want to lend you the money because they know you'll give it back, but they also want you to actually give it back instead of defaulting on it.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you do student loans inside your school, they can force you, and then there's more punishment they can give you, and they will extract the money, where with your bank, they're willing to make a more long-term investment with you.
Okay, that's good advice.
So that's just, you wind up paying way less interest in the end, and you have much more financial freedom during your time of education because you're not making payments.
Right, okay.
That's what I did. It was a good plan, trust me. That was really low in my voice.
That was really low, yeah.
Anyways, I think that's it. That's all the advice I have.
That's all the advice I have as well.
Woo, from two adults that do these things.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Eva, and this is Ryan, and if you guys wanted to find him on any other channel, you can find him over at Glass Half Empty, where he's doing a Black Panther review as we speak, which hopefully will be out by the time that this is out on the internet, and you guys will check it out. I'll put it down below in the description. I'll put his channel down in the description, so you can hear his pessimistic voice as he speaks angrily about movies.
Okay.
If you guys like this video, please hit like, comment down below, and hit subscribe so we can see you guys next time.
I thought we were both pointing.
Oh, crisscross.